A teenager has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after two students at Kingsbury High School in Brent in North London were attacked with a knife inside a classroom. We've heard from the Metropolitan Police in the last few moments. They say that a boy of 13 has been arrested. This horrific incident unfolded inside one of the classrooms in this building behind me at around 12:40 this afternoon. Armed officers and patrol officers responded to 999 calls. They were here within 13 minutes, but the alleged assailant had already made an exit and got away. A manhunt ensued, and this afternoon officers did finally make an arrest. And we've heard from Detective Superintendent Luke Williams, who said they have also recovered a knife that they believe was used in the attack. Now, the students were both taken to hospital. One boy is in a major trauma centre, but there is no update on the extent of their injuries or their current condition. The inspector saying that the thoughts of the Metropolitan Police were with those boys, but they do both remain in hospital and they are likely to stay there overnight. We've been speaking to parents at the scene, parents of students who also go to this school. It is understood that this incident took place inside a classroom. There are some claims as well that one of the victims may have been stabbed when they tried to reach for a fire alarm, which would of course have caused an evacuation of the school, to try and actually raise the alarm and help his fellow pupils escape this horrific incident. One more important thing on this story is that while this investigation is not currently being treated as a terror attack, the Met Police say that counter-terror officers are assessing the incident and are helping with the ongoing inquiries, given the nature of what has happened here this afternoon.
According to police, 9 people have died after a shooting at a secondary school in Tumbler Ridge. RCMP say an individual believed to be the shooter was also found deceased with what appears to be a self-inflicted injury. Approximately 25 others are being assessed and triaged at the local medical center for non-life-threatening injuries. And 2 victims have been airlifted to hospital with serious or life-threatening injuries. This is a breaking news story. For more, you can go to ctvnews.ca.
Big news coming in out of Canada, and a shooting horror that has taken place. At least 10 people have died and over 25 people have been injured in Canada. There are multiple victims in this shooting that's taken place at a high school in the northeastern part of the province of British Columbia. And this is the latest that we have. And to know more on this, my colleague Vishal is joining us. Vishal, it is common such news coming out of the United States where there's been a shootout at a mall, at a school, at a kindergarten even. But, this is unheard of as far as Canada is concerned. This is a very tragic news coming out of Canada where 10 people have died, and this is all happening inside a school where 25 others have been injured.
Yes, this is a shocking piece of information coming in from Canada. This is British Columbia, to be precise. This is on the northwestern part of Canada, a very restive and quiet place, but it has been rocked by this violence in which at least 10 people have died. Initial reports suggest that at least 6 school kids could have died in this tragedy, and the shooter has also been killed, reportedly killed by a self-inflicted injury. What are the other details? They are still trickling in. We have information that some people have been airlifted to an hospital with serious or life-threatening injuries. So this death toll could go up by a significant margin because it is a mass shooting incident and involves a school. Canada, as you rightly mentioned, does not really have these incidents very frequently, and it has really strict gun laws in place, unlike the United States. But this has indeed happened, and it will have to, it shows how the situation is unfolding, and how, shooters can access guns even in places that are not really known for gun violence. So that all of that will have to be answered by the authorities. Initial reports do indicate that it was a solitary shooter, lone wolf, so to speak. But all of these things will have to be confirmed by the authorities of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Well, of course, questions being raised as to what was his link to this particular school. This took place in the afternoon at about 1:20 p.m., which means that the school was fully functional, and, which of course means that there were more people who would have succumbed to the attack that took place, by this lone shooter. How old is the shooter? Any details, any sketchy details emerging at this point in time?
So initially, the police suspected there might be multiple shooters involved in this incident, but they have now zeroed in the fact that it was just one shooter, and they don't believe that there are any other suspects. That was the official release from the RCMP says, and they have also said that they're searching other homes and properties in the nearby communities to find if there are any other victims. There could be other injured people nearby the school who could have been involved in the shooting. And some officers of the RSMP are being sent to the community to work on the investigation. So this is an unfolding situation. This was an active shooter situation just 5 minutes ago, but that has been turned, red alert has been turned off because the shooter, the solitary shooter, seems to be dead right now of self-inflicted injuries. These are some of the details that we've gathered, and as you rightly mentioned, at least 10 people have been killed, and most of them seem to be school kids in the age of 7 to 11.
Right, the initial alert that was sent out was a female dressed up in a brown dress with brown hair is the kind of alert that was sent out in regard to the person responsible for the shootout. Was it a female? All that needs to be answered. So Vishal, we will keep coming back to you. Thank you for getting us the very latest for now.
The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has landed at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland ahead of his meeting with the US President.
Well, this marks their sixth such encounter in the US since Trump returned to office a year ago. On Tuesday, Netanyahu's office said that the top priority in his talks with Trump would be the ongoing negotiations with Iran. And the Israeli Prime Minister's office said that he will highlight Israel's concerns over Iran's missile arsenal and not just the nuclear program.
Trump said the Israeli premier wants a deal with Iran and that the current talks on Tehran's nuclear program show promise. In an interview with Fox News, the US president said he thinks Iran would be foolish if it did not make a deal.
A top advisor to Iran's supreme leader discussed ways to reach a balanced and just agreement with the United States during talks in Oman. A spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry said the talks have allowed Tehran to gauge Washington's seriousness and showed enough consensus for diplomacy to continue.
Amid diplomatic efforts, a Wall Street Journal report suggests the Trump administration officials have discussed whether to seize additional tankers involved in transporting Iranian oil. It claimed that they have held off for now. Concerned about Tehran's near certain retaliation and the impact on global oil markets, the US has seized several ships that have carried Iranian oil as part of its 2-month-old blockade of sanctioned tankers serving Venezuela.
A move by the United States to block other sanctioned ships from landing oil in Iran would squeeze Tehran's main source of revenue, expanding the aggressive strategy the White House put in place in December in the Caribbean.
This as threats of US as well as Israeli attacks persist. High-resolution satellite imagery taken on Tuesday shows the extent to which Iran has covered the tunnel entrances at Isfahan nuclear complex with soil.
Now, in the imagery, the middle and southern entrances are unrecognizable and fully covered in soil, while the northernmost tunnel, which features additional passive defense measures, is backfilled with soil. No more vehicle activity is seen around the three entrances.
Tensions have escalated with the US in the backdrop of protests that rocked Iran last month. They were put down by what activists condemned as an unprecedented crackdown by the authorities, with thousands allegedly killed.
On the eve of the annual commemoration of the 1979 Islamic Revolution, residents of Tehran chanted slogans against the Islamic Republic and Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.